Okay, maybe we can start, Rosario.
Yes.
So welcome everyone. My name is Anu Matisse. I co-direct this department. And today we'll be doing a presentation of the MA alongside with a presentation from some alumni to give you also a sense of the kind of activities and projects that take place after the MA. Rosario?
Yeah, also, if you have any questions about the enrollments and any information you need how to apply, please post the questions on the chat. Aurelie is here and you don't see her, but she is there to answer all your questions regarding application, etc. So any questions during all the talk, just please refer to the chat and they will be answered as we speak, okay? So we're just gonna talk about the program, and so Arno said we're just gonna introduce our graduates who are here, and today we will want to hear more from them than from ourselves. You can also see some of the presentations we've done previously, and you can find them on the LAHET website. So we're just gonna start. This is the space that we have. This is the master space where our students work. So
yeah, and so I co-direct this department with Rosario, which is, please present yourself, just because you haven't said hi.
So we are Matisse and Rosario Hurtado, and we are co-directing the department together.
Brilliant.
The images you see is the space we have in LAHET, which is the top floor. And this is the work in progress of year 2. They're working towards their final practice projects.
So the MA Space and Communication is first and foremost a master in design, exploring the convergence between space and media as an interface for communication. The program encourages the development of experimental design practices inhabiting the intersections of space, media, performance, and objects, placing emphasis on the generation of complex multimediatic and multisensorial productions. Their outputs span from installations to films and performances that ask viewers and participants to engage in a more meaningful relationship with design and the themes of investigation. Of particular importance is the relationship between design and filmmaking as a cross-disciplinary practice, both in its theoretical and practice-based outcomes.
So what is important is for us is to communicate that this is a process-led program. So it's about practice, and even theory is a practice project. So we work in the space, we work with the material, creating full-size installations, and every work we do is creating full-size work. So and in this convergence of media and space. So towards the years to come, we focusing more on this this convergence of multimedia and other hybrids with the space. So such as this clip of one of the students' project that we have, Amandine Lecuyer, where we're looking at space as the communicator of the project. You use this as a way to create a narrative space. So in the program, so we have the two sides. We have a content and process. So as I was saying, is the idea is we approach theory as a studio project, and through a different unit we call it a film by designer, and we encourage the students to investigate and to explore themes through producing actual work. So even the theory part will be creating films, so doing media presentations where you can explore a subject in a journalistic manner using these different tools. And in terms of process, we interrupting each other, which is very much the style of the course. Go Arno.
Yeah, of course. No, just to continue, I mean, is, as you said, the process aspect or side of it, as we explained before, is really a practice-led course. So really from the making, and through the making, we investigate and create the production space. And that directs these projects that we create, they direct the development of personal design and a personal design process through the production of the full size work. So it's really important to understand that it's also process led, making, thinking through making, which is a key element to the course. And so it goes from all kinds of projects, as Rosario just explained, from theory-based, but also from workshops to also bigger final projects that we exhibit actually in the cube, a massive space we have here at La Head.
Also, what is important is our students don't necessarily come from a practice where is producing 3D and full-size work. So we have the students coming from visual communication, photography, film, product design, interior architecture. Even we had the students who didn't come from a production design, but from theory. We had a curator, historian. So it's really open. We like to create a team of students that you can learn from each other, and don't be scared if you never made anything physical big in space, because the course is set for you to learn the skills necessary to lead you to produce this sort of work. So this is a little bit of a just pan out how the courses happen over the 2 years.
The examples we're showing you here are really projects that happened last year. So one uniqueness of the course is that every year the projects are different. There's never a single project that is the same. Of course, we have projects with different spans, so a shorter span or a longer span in terms of to what extent we investigate certain aspects of the design process. But so some short workshops teach you more some skill-based elements, where some other projects are your final project, or a project based, such as Film by Designer, investigating design through film as well. And so as you can tell, it's very varied. And the characteristic between the first year and contrary to the second year is that in the first year, you work a lot more in groups, even though there is the opportunity to work individually and on your own, and not only in groups or in collaborations.
So we said different kind of workshops, so you have the opportunity to learn through the 2 years. So you start with the workshops where you will be acquiring the skills together as a group. Again, it's important to learn certain things together so we can share the common knowledge that we bring when we come to the course, but also that you develop this relationship where you understand how each other works and how you support each other as a team. So we start with a series of projects encouraging this creation of skills as a pool for everybody. And then intertwining with us, we have research projects, and we have the 2 main projects of the year, which is one will be a studio project, which is a process-based project and which is thinking through making. And we have a second project, which is a professional practice project, where we work with different collaborators. So just right after this, we will be showing you some of the projects we are doing in the practice, in the professional practice precisely this year, that they are coming, and you will be able to see if you are in Geneva or if you go to Milan for the Salone del Mobile. So first year is very much there for you to learn skills to work both individually and to develop the capacity to work as a group and as a team, which is something that it may sound simple, but it's really complicated, and it's an important part of learning a professional practice for your future. And in second year is much more an individual project. You start working on the memoir, which is again a studio project. It's not something you do on your own, in your room, or reading on your own. It's all the students working in the same space. You learn on you have your own tutor, but you are having sessions where you share, you have seminars, and it's all created in the studio, which is a important part to say, because sometimes theory is understood as something that you do on your own space, but we bring this also to the studio. And the way in which we're looking at the outcomes that come from theory is not only a written work, but we're looking more at you producing all the kind of from films to performance or the kinds of outcomes in which you can express the theory. And then you have your personal practice project, which is a full-size project that you will exhibit in the Cube, which is the 1,000 square meter gallery space that we have in the building, and which starts with the project that you saw at the beginning in the space, and we call physical editing, which is a project there to help you start finding and teasing different themes and different approaches to how your practice is run and how do you develop your individual and personal design language. Having said that, you are also able to do your personal project in teams. We have done this in the past. We had students who work together on tools, and this is also supported and allowed. So we're happy, even if the whole course wanted to do it as a one project together, this is something that we are open to do. So yeah.
I think reiterating the objectives and the types of practices that our students achieve or try to achieve, the course really pushes our students to develop their own design language in the objective to also create their own studios. But that being said, we've also had many alumni that are also working in different sectors or in different industries, and that have this capacity from our course to be extremely versatile, so that they can offer a series of skills and a series of different types of tools to help them and the industry in which they work to think also in a more transdisciplinary and independent way. So this is just a quick survey that we did from 2019 to 2021, investigating kind of the different types of fields alumni enter and find themselves working in, and the amount of people that are hired or employed and those that are independent. So in the graphic design field, we can see that 3 of our alumni work for themselves and have built their own company and their own studio. And that being said, there are also alumni that are employed, in this particular case, 7. So what's interesting here and very important to note is that, like, many of our students come from different backgrounds, as you will see after with the presentations from Shun and Studio Tech, but they also end up in a variety of different fields. And I think that's something that's been very attractive for our students and for the alumni, because it's allowed them to really try to find their practice and really develop that practice in that field. We've decided to show you a couple slides of ourselves and some of the people that we invite in the course. You can find all this information online on the website of LAHED. Obviously, this is only a snippet of some of the people that we have collaborated with and with whom we've done multiple projects. Again, this is also something that is evolving every year. As I said, there's never the same course, the same project, and we also try to renew totally and continuously the team so that it responds to the needs of the students, because what defines the direction of the course is also the work of the students and the types of work and the types of practices the students are investigating. And that is what helps us define the course and define also the types of tutors and support that is needed.
Just as we wanted to show you a few things which are exhibited right now, or they are going to be opening soon, so you may have the opportunities to see the work. So this is the work of our students, which took part in the World Design Capital, which was 2022, but the exhibition still goes on, and you will be able to see if you go to Valencia or if you are based in Valencia. And this is at Bombas Gens, and it's an Earth retrospective, and this is the students were working on looking at photography and reinterpreting images as if they didn't understand what is this image, looking at the image from an uncertain future. And and looking at how do we go from 2D to 3D, how do we understand the part of the objects that we see and the part of the objects that we don't see. So how do we move from something that is on a plane to something that becomes a 3D? And we have to imagine what those things are and what are the function and how do they look like. So this is a project that, as I said, you can see is right now in Valencia, and we will be visiting soon with our students.
While illuminating some of our residual knowledge, we were now so eager
this
to
is
unlock.
part of a little excerpt of the video catalog of the exhibition that you can see online.
We found excitement in their questioning, in their reenactment.
This is Arno, you can.
Yeah, this is another project that we are currently doing, which isn't yet complete and which will take place in April till June, which is entitled Architects at Play, which is an exhibition design based on the PhD thesis of David Malo, investigating architecture and the game and playing. So for this particular exhibition, we've investigated the different ways we could symbolize and represent the dissertation of David and his curation through a series of mini pavilions, all using material that is sensitive to upcycling and recycling, where we use only wood and cardboard to basically create scenographic modules and exhibition elements. So if you're in Geneva during this period, please come by and you'll see the outcome. These are just shots of the current model and the different types of proposals made by the students.
And this is which is still a confidential kind of a project, but it's the exhibition we will be in Milan for during the Salone del Mobile, and presenting the work of the students that is something they have been producing on glass. And for this, they went to None to work with the glass master, where they produce themselves together with the master, the glasses. So again, is this very practical approach to how you make things. Is not only you designing, but also understanding the whole process of production. And if you are in Milan, please look for us. We will be happy to receive you there. And finally, yes, just wanted to show that one of the students in year 1 in the project called First Encounters, that is run by Nantoram and Ren Saleh, they entered the competition for the Girls Berlin Film Festival, and they were chosen. We don't know still who is the winner, but it's also important for us that the work that is produced, it takes part of the wider world. It's not only something that happens in the university, but it's participating and inputting on what is happening on design now. So here you have, if you can make a screen grab or a photograph of the different ways you can check. We have a website. We have also a master thesis website where you can read the whole thesis of a number of students. We will encourage you to have a look at that as well. You will really enjoy the reading. The themes are wide and really exciting. And you can follow us in Instagram, but also we have over 200 films in Vimeo. So if you're ever bored, just go in and check out the things we do. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Xuan. Xuan is a graduate from last year, and she's still sticking around and being really helpful. She's helping the students in year 2 with her amazing skills. So we would like to hear about her projects and what is her outlook into the future now. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosario. Hello, I'm Shen, and I just graduated last summer. Now I'm doing my art practices in Geneva and have some collaboration with Geneva University. And first, I would like to show my diploma project of the master. And then later, I will also show some other projects I have done in Space and Com. And later, I will talk about the student lives in La Aide and also in Geneva. So this is my diploma project. It's called Wetland. And it talks about, it's a science speculative fiction that talks about the anthropocentric exploiting of genetic algorithm, artificial intelligence in the contemporary science scene. So for the projects, I built installations for the audience to experience a near future scenario that the hope is you can see as a physical film. That's a physical film that's when you go inside different parts of the AI bodies and the things like AI generated will light up and then start to work in the end. And here are some of the details of the project. Like I use some servos and motors to make the interactive part. And then also the creatures in the narrative, like the AI produced. So here are the parts of my experimenting parts. I do some mechanical experience and also some materials tests, and also with programming and with different textures. Now show you quickly show the film. So can you hear the sound of the film? No. Okay, so now I'll go back. So in Space and Com, we have lots of collective projects and also personal projects. Diploma project usually is individual work. And here is an example of another workshop that is led by Nathalie Crasset. And we build a sound instrument for a museum in the northern France called Familistère. And in this project, like we have clients and we talk to clients and discuss about their needs. And then the task is like every group needs to build some things, some small installations on the trolley. And in our group, we create sound instruments that when you press the buttons, like it will generate sounds, which is an echo of the history of Familistère, which they used to have a fanfare before. Yes. And then we also have some other parts. So one of the person will lead the trolleys and make the sounds, and the other people can also participate in the parade. In Space and Com, there's always challenges, tasks that we cannot see at the beginning. This one is filmed by designers, like Akno talked about. So my background is product designer, and I have never done anything about film before. But in these projects, we had only 2 months to produce, 3 to 3 months to produce a small movie. And so in this workshop, I learned, for example, like sound editing and film editing, and also doing costumes and props for the scene. So here are some of the screenshots from the films. If you're interested, you can also find it on the Vimeo of Space and Communication. And now I would like to talk about, although Space and Com is not a technical oriented program, but we have lots of technical supports from all the workshops of the school. So here you can see that we have the CNC and then of wood and metal and some very detailed things we want to make. And we also have thermoformings and then zoomed machines, laser cuts, also 3D printing. And we also have 3D printers in Space and Com. And for example, here that with my projects of my diploma projects, so for example, these parts of the joints of the motors, like I've done it in the 3D modeling, and then CNC by the technicians, and I also cut the metal bars in the metal workshop and 3D printing some joints. And here is another test that I've done in the wood workshop. And so we have plenty of space in the workshops that we work together. And in the workshop, because there are also other students from other departments that will work there. So we also discuss projects with other students, not only from Space and Com, but also from our departments, or for example, like media designs. And here is another project done by my colleague. And here is the metal workshops, like the CNC, and then also other things like we can do welding and to cut the wood. And except for this workshop, we also have the photo pour workshop, numeric workshop that we can borrow equipment. And here is the amazing cube that you can find very fine photos on the website, but personally I prefer this messy photo. It's the first day when we did the mounting in the cube of our diploma projects. So it was still a mess. And apart from the teachers, like lots of amazing teachers in Space and Com, I also learned a lot from my colleagues on their perspectives on design and arts, and also the way they work. So here are some photos of our year and also the year after us working. And for those who are not familiar with Geneva, Geneva is surrounded by nature. So during holidays or weekends, we also went hiking, ski, parties, and also swimming in the lake together with all the colleagues. So my presentation is finished. And if there are questions, we ask after together, or yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. That was great. Thank you so much for presenting and talking about the life in Geneva and talking so well about all the workshops and all the other parts that are part of the university, and it's important because I mean you really were thorough about that. Fantastic, thank you. So as Sean says, you can ask questions in the chat. I'd like to ask just one question to Sean. and it's about the language, because the master is in English, and as from now on, is officially English is the language. But of course, the students talk French, English. Could you talk a little bit about your experience related to the language?
Yes. So I would say if you don't speak any French, it's still totally fine to study in space and com, because most of the teachers, they speak English, and even with some French teachers, they still speak English. And when they cannot express too well in English, you also have classmates, your colleagues, and also the assistants to translate for you. And often because our backgrounds are designers or artists, so when we do projects, of course, sometimes everyone is very tired and we are so done with English. Even for me, sometimes I'm done with English too. I remember there was one moment when I done a project with another two colleagues, Swiss and French. And in the end, we just communicated by sketch and we don't talk. We just do the sketch very quickly and it shows what's the next move and how we move the sequence later and how we film. So I would say that there are lots of other ways to communicate. That English language is not really a big issue, but though Geneva is still the French-speaking cities, if you know at least some basic French, it will still be easier for you for the daily life and to have also participate more activities with colleagues. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great, Sean. So Studio Tech, Etienne and Tommy, who decided when they graduated to keep working. They were working together before they came to study with us, and then they worked separately, and they developed their own work, which was great because then they had a lot to offer to each other again when they rejoined as a team when you graduated, and now you work as a Studio Tech. So thank you if you can talk about your work, and also it's great they will talk about that you got the award to work at the pools. So maybe also it'll be great to hear about these opportunities that are available once you graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosario, for the introduction. So my name is Tommy.
And me, I'm Etienne.
So as Rosario said, we created the Studio Tech last year after I graduated from the Space and Com Master. Before that, we were together in a bachelor in Annecy in space design. And then we decided to go to the master together, and we started to work separately during the master. So Studio Tech is a set design studio, and we are making like scenography with a circular approach and an upcycling approach. So in this course, we choose three or four of our highlights projects to talk to you about the course, because we had to choose. The first one is this one. So we created in the Film by Designer workshop 2 films. It was a complete experience. There you can see the posters. So we went to next to Joshua Tree National Park in California during 10 days to make our films. But before that, you can see on the picture on the left that we, starting by prepared this trip, we made storyboards, we made drawings, we made props, everything. We tried different plans, different ways of filming. So everything was prepared before arriving in the United States.
At the right is a picture of my movie. For me, it's the best experience of this master because it's amazing. You have 10 days in California for create your movie with your friends. And it's a great experience, the social experience and the professional experience. We didn't sleep much because we film all day and all the night, but it's it's a real great experience.
The second big project that we will live in this master was the master thesis. So this one was mine, and so it explored the notion of survivalism and atomic shelter, in United States during the Cold War. So it explores that through the project Greek Island, that was an atomic shelter for the government, for the American government to survive in case of nuclear attack during the Cold War. And just to show you the continuity of different projects that you're gonna make in the master, this is a picture of my thesis defense. So it was inside of head school shelter, and I brought the jury inside to live an experience through images and radio extracts from radio extracts.
And at the end of the master, you create your practice project. After so many experience, workshop, and professional experience, you can create your project with your tutor. Here it's my project. It's the OSR, Outdoor Sensational Reality Center. It's the placebo experience where the artifacts derived from the large multinational like Amazon or Wish are the ending of the consumerist well-being to create the totally absurd experience. And after the master, Tommy and me applied to the Pulse Incubator. It's the incubator for the new startup or the project in Geneva. And we create the studio tech, the endless cycle, the studio of scenography. We work in the eco-conception and upcycling. We show the website and the different projects. Just 1 minute. Projects. If you want.
Yeah. So to start, this is a project that we choose because the metallic tubes that you can see on the pictures were used by Etienne for his master project. So this is to show you how we are working in a circular way, in an upcycling way, that we are reusing materials again and again. So this was a stand for a watch brand that is Oligo, for Time to Watch is in Geneva. And we can show you another project. So this is an exhibition. It's still in Geneva in the Saint Maurice Chalumeau. They received a collection of 50,000 books, and they wanted to show an extract of this new collection they just received into 600 cardboards. And the only material that we use to make the scenography was there's 600 cardboards. So we use it as materials to create displays and to create all the set design. So yeah, I think it's okay for us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask it.
Could you explain a little bit what is the Pulse initiative?
Yeah, Pulse Incubator.
Yes.
It's an incubator for entrepreneurship, I would say. It's linked to the 6 high schools of Geneva. So head is inside. and it allows you at the end of the of your studies or during your studies for some to have access to entrepreneurship coaching with a personal coach during 18 months. So you have access to experts in different how I can say like to finance experts, to laws experts. It allows you to have access to a big je vais y arriver.
Network?
Réseau, yeah, network, exactly, thank you. And to access to the workshops of head as well during the 18 months of the incubation. So
And
yes.
you also get a space to work.
You have the space to work, and it is in the center in Geneva, and it's a very great place because in Geneva, when you would create your studio, you have no place because it's full.
And it's expensive, and there you have to pass, of course, a presentation in front of a jury. But if you get inside, you have access to a place freely. So it's a really good way to pass through the master to the professional experience, the reality of life.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Studio Tech, Etienne and Tommy. And so anybody who's listening, the participants, do you have any questions for Arnaud, for me, for our graduates?
On the website of LAHEAD, you can also find information about the Pulse Incubator, if ever. It's always interesting to see the kind of different services and possibilities the school offers also after your graduation. I think there was a few questions that were raised, but that have been answered. If there's no more questions, then I think we can end the webinar.
I think just to finish, I think it was great that also Xuan was talking about life in Geneva. And for me, on the later years, which is something that has begun to happen, and it really changes the outlook of the master, is that a lot of our graduates, they are staying in Geneva and they are opening their own studios. And this is creating a really interesting new network of between the graduates and the students, but also Geneva is beginning to be this creative hub that that is opening opportunities to very uncommon practices, and it has these opportunities. I think having Pulse and many other initiatives that the LAHEAD supports is a great opportunity to think not only you do masters, but you also have the opportunity to start your practice within Geneva and keep the connection with the university. So if, like I was saying, if nobody has questions, of course, you can also email us. You have the email on the last page to Arnaud and myself if you have any questions regarding the course. If you have questions regarding application process, you can direct it to Aurélie, which is in the questions Q&A. But yes, we hope we've been able to explain a little bit more about the course, find all the information in the multiple our websites and the spaces, and yeah, come and visit us, apply, let's have a conversation. Thank you.